Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello and welcome to Toon Jam. I am Matt.
And I'm J-Man.
And today we are visiting a new show called Centaur World. Maybe you know about it, maybe you've watched it, maybe you haven't, and maybe you've never heard of it. Well, let me tell you a brief bit about it. Anyway, Centaur World is an American animated musical comedy streaming television series created by Megan Nicole Dong, with songs by Dong, produced by Sketch Shark Productions and Netflix Animation. It premiered on Netflix on July 30th, 2021, so pretty fresh. It's about a month old. Centaur World follows a warhorse who is transported from her embattled world to a strange land inhabited by vibrant singing centaurs of all species, shapes and sizes. So there is one season out at the moment with 10 episodes, and no idea whether there'll be a second season, but we watched the first episode as always. So I take it you hadn't seen this before?
I had not. I'd seen it pop up on the old Netflix coming soon and thought, this looks like it's about centaurs.
Yes.
I did actually think it was like an adult comedy, basically just judging by the art style, but
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Yes, you were very wrong indeed. But more on our thoughts in a moment. Let's first head over to Twitter and see what the tweetings are tweeting.
So the tweetings in general, folk seem to be, fairly happy with it so far. We've got Humber Fox, who says, "I'll say it again. Centaur World is the best thing on Netflix, even if it is difficult to spell sometimes." They also go on to say that one of the songs, which is called Tornado, is a masterpiece, mythos, mechanics and pathos in one go. So Humber Fox, big fan.
Yeah, that's high praise. The best thing on Netflix. We hear that quite a lot, actually. This is the best thing on Netflix. Which
I think is, that's an impressive feat, because it's not like Netflix just do animations.
Yeah.
Like, this is better than any documentary that has ever,
Yeah.
any feature
just,
film.
Dramatic series.
Yeah.
Film. Yeah. I mean, the works. But people often say, and I don't just mean about Centaur World. This is something we've done a few Netflix shows, and that's been a tweet. So, yeah, that's an interesting one that we hear that again. But this one is expanded,
Yeah.
Very impressed by the music.
We've also got Moochie MCG Art, who says, "Please watch Centaur World. I'm begging you."
I like that you're adding in the emotive laughs there.
Yeah, it's just what I'm reading from the tweets. It's just
So this is Jay's interpretation.
Yeah.
Of the tweets.
Yeah, sometimes text on the screen can feel emotionless, but I'm feeling what you're feeling when you're tweeting them.
So just to go over that one, they're begging people to watch it.
Yeah. I think it may have been someone in particular, but I think the tweet is for everyone.
Oh right.
Just like Twitter overall, I guess you could say.
I mean, you put a tweet out there, as can clearly be seen right now. Anyone can read it.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter sometimes does feel like it's like a party you were invited to, and then the hosts kind of start arguing between each other, and you just kind of sat there to make comments.
Yeah, and this is just another one of those.
This is one of those, yeah. We've also got Starlit Comfy, who says, "Centaur World actually caught me completely off guard. I thought it was going to be another raunchy, cynical adult cartoon going for that, the language and themes don't match the visuals, lol, style of humour. But no, it's genuinely a great musical."
There you go. And very similar to what you said.
Yeah.
They went in expecting an adult cartoon.
It was. I mean, we've watched a few of those adult cartoons, and like, I guess the art style is, it's synonymous with those types of shows. It's very like Adult Swim at the minute or whatever. Like, there's a
Yeah.
certain look that a lot of shows seem to have, and an adult cartoon is generally what you're in for. But not with this one, not with Centaur World.
Well, we've talked about it before, and like how adult animation, specifically, I guess, in the 90s and noughties. I don't know if it's so much the case now, but we said how it had ugly animation as a point.
Yeah,
I think Family Guy's kind of changed that. It's just now, to me, like, if I see generic looking animation or art style, I would assume an adult cartoon.
Yeah, which is kind of upsetting all in itself, really. But
Yeah,
it's the way of the world. Yeah,
yeah,
the way that it's going at the minute. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's nice to have a break from the norm, something that kind of looks that way but isn't. Because this is a PG. I watched this on the kids section of Netflix. So
interesting.
Yeah. So
that's a good idea as well.
Yeah, because
if it's a thumbs down, then it's not on your list.
That's it. No need to go and clear
And then
that.
if it's a thumbs up, you can just carry on watching it on your list.
Exactly. So you've got to play tactical with the Netflix stuff.
Yeah.
We've also got Lena Dispel, who says, "Every time I watch Centaur World or listen to the soundtrack, I find a new point to cry at."
So, I mean, I assume that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Not like every song is so bad it's making me cry.
Yeah, I mean, that could be one way to interpret.
This is. I mean, this is the trouble when you're reading tweets. You just don't know what could be the intended.
I'm not entirely sure. Yeah,
but I'm gonna go with the former. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Yeah. Because this is something that I don't think we really came across because we only watched the first one, but apparently Centaur World gets a little darker or a bit more emotional, I guess, as it goes along. Basically, judging by that, and this last tweet from Daisy Azores, who says, "Freaking hell! I always turn into an ugly crying mess watching Centaur World."
Oh my! So again, I'm assuming that's a positive.
Yeah, like, and yeah, in a I guess in a good way, in that like it's touched them enough to bring tears to their eyes, as opposed to it just being generically animated and drawn, and they're like, just turn into fetal position because I have higher standards than this. I don't think that's how it works.
So some real powerful reactions to Centaur World then.
Yeah, it's gone down seemingly pretty well on Twitter.
Okay then, wow, that's interesting. That is interesting, and to be honest, I expected this would be, and I don't think this is actually a spoiler as to my own opinion, but would be a Twitter friendly show. If that makes any sense.
I think so. Yeah.
Now, just to go on to other ratings and such, let me tell you the IMDb rating is. Can you guess?
I'm going to go 6.5.
No, you were wrong. It is 7.6.
Oh,
so higher.
Yeah.
So that seems a fairly average score for a lot of the animated series we've watched.
Yeah.
That's a safe, steady score.
Which I should have guessed, really.
Yeah.
I went low.
So here we go. Now this is where the real test comes in.
Oh yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
We all know Rotten Tomatoes is absolutely, infallible in its design. So can you guess? Let's go with the audience score first.
Audience score, I think 90% on that one.
Oh, you're close. It's 92%.
Oh, 92.
92%. Now, this is the critics' rating. So the audience score is out of 36 users.
Right. That's not many people, I suppose.
Yeah, but the critics is only 7.
Oh.
Well, this is it says there's no consensus yet, but there is also a rating for those 7. So I guess it probably has to get so many to get a proper consensus, critics consensus. But this is what it just is on the tomatometer. What do you think?
I'm going to go with, I think I'll go with 100%.
100%?
100%.
You'd be correct. Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh,
Rotten Tomatoes. There you go.
Tomatoes. That 100%.
There you go.
Coveted, rare, and wonderful 100%.
So, fun stuff there. That could change. That could change within time.
Yeah.
You never know. Like I say, there's no real consensus yet. That's simply on.
But I think we know that.
It's going to stay at that, let's be honest. So, okay. So, all I had to... Did you watch the trailer before you saw this?
No.
No, so you just went in thinking this is probably an adult thing?
Yeah, I think, I saw this, just the poster of it, and then saw it as a show.
I was the same, and I think coming out of it, I think I'd seen the trailer, but still thought for some reason that it was more adult. Which is strange because when you actually look at it, you kind of think like, what? Why did I think that?
Yeah.
It's very strange, and but we're not the only ones clearly that thought that.
No, it's got to be a sign of the times. Like that is the look of the show.
I can think is like Adventure Time.
Yeah,
because it's got a similar sort of look to Adventure Time in some aspects. Yeah. And Adventure Time obviously didn't start off as an adult show, but I do feel it ended as an adult show.
Yeah.
Or at least, a late teens, early 20s, audience. Yeah.
Well, that's funny you say that, actually, because it looks like I still had one more tweet, which was from Alamnat, who said, Centaur World is fantastic. Don't sleep on it. It's sort of a lot, but if you can get over the hump, it really takes off. And they say that it's very much like if early Adventure Time had later Adventure Time sense of narrative.
Right. That is an interesting way to put it. Because you never really think about it. Because I always thought later Adventure Time was early Adventure Time with a later Adventure Time narrative. But and that sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but I'm not. That actually does make sense in a strange way.
Hidden tweet there. Hidden tweet.
Yeah, hidden tweet, and a good one as well. You slept on that one, ironically.
I know. Almost not read out. So apologies.
But that one, that's interesting as well. So they say get over the hump. We've only watched the first episode.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, straight off the bat, I didn't really connect with it.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
No, it's same for me. It's like there was elements in there that I liked, but it wasn't something that I was like, yeah, I'll stick with this.
Yeah, I was the same. I felt like, it felt to me like later Adventure Time, which we've discussed about before.
Yeah,
obviously we were big fans of early Adventure Time.
Yeah,
and I think that for us is like a sweet spot where it's still sort of for kids, which I guess says a lot about us. But the humour in this felt really. I'm trying to think where it felt like that Adventure Time sort of late teens, early 20s.
Yeah,
like crowd would be very into this. Which is why I thought it would do well on Twitter and things like that. I can see that the people that would watch this would really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to also see to get over the hump. Like, I wonder now that they've left the Centaur world and they've sort of got their zaniness out the way of initial meetings, would it change?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. It does feel like it. For saying this is a first episode, like it, I don't think it would have played well as a great pilot, because as much as like there's clearly more to explore and stuff,
Yeah.
it's like you're not sold on the fundamentals of the show, are you? Really, like it's like
No.
the characters are like, I'm not, pretty nonplussed about all of those. I could do with
Yeah.
not seeing more of them.
Well, I felt like, I was quite. I had seen a trailer, and I knew that it was more of a clip, and it was a short clip of when she first arrives and is running away from them all.
Yeah.
So I knew that she was looking for her, what she calls Ryder,
Right.
which is like the knight, lady that rides her. But that whole start bit was I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And then for me, I kind of lost it when we met the cast of characters from Centaur World.
Yeah, it is weird how different. I mean, like the art style changes and everything from that opening scene to like what her real world is like, and then going into Centaur World. I mean, that's kind of the point. Obviously, it's meant to be a big contrast, but yeah, like it was like it looked really nice, that opening.
Yeah, because it didn't look like anything I'd seen before, in a way that wasn't. It also wasn't. It was really weird. It was like familiar yet different.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, actually, this looks really nice.
Yeah, I thought it was weird how, I mean, maybe I'm completely wrong, but like I thought the rider looked remarkably like Korra from the anime. Like I don't know why that was. Like in my head, that was the first thing that came up.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just because I half remember what Korra looks like, but it's like they look familiar, this person. But yeah, that whole opening as well, I thought that was, for saying it's a kid's cartoon. I thought that bit was kind of dark on its own. I haven't even got into the stuff that's making people cry yet, probably anyway. But there's a lot of threat. It's quite tense, and I mean, it sort of kind of culminates in the horse, maybe dying or something. Like you don't really, or the rider dying. You don't really know, and there's these monsters that are kind of attacking them. It didn't seem like the opening to a kids show, I guess.
Yeah, it was a no-win situation, wasn't it? Like
yeah.
It just seemed like, oh, my days, everything's ending.
And then, I mean, I guess that's the kind of, the shock of landing then in Centaur World, where everything's, hyper vivid and all the characters kind of make silly noises and that kind of thing. So it was, part of me kind of wanted to keep watching the start bit really more than anything. I mean, I guess it could go back. It'll go back to that at some point, maybe. Not sure. But yeah, I was kind of amiss then going to, for saying that clip was probably, like a minute. The opening was like a minute long, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm into this. And then for the remaining 20 odd minutes, I was like, I'm not into this. So
yeah, I was the same. I was very like, as soon as they got to Centaur World, I took a hard switch off.
Yeah.
And I think it was down to, I just didn't get on with the characters. Like at first it was like, this giraffe guy seems amusing, but the humor didn't really land for me.
Yeah.
And just, there was that sort of really anxious one. Just I don't know, rubbed me up the wrong way a bit.
Right.
It wasn't all the characters, but I felt like some of the jokes I'd seen before in different things, but they were so like the little bird centaur.
Yeah.
With his handsome face. It just looked like something from Teen Titans Go, but not as funny.
Yeah.
Like it didn't land properly.
Yeah.
And I felt like that with a lot of the jokes in it, which I thought was such a shame because it started off so well. But maybe it's a case of, it finds its footing a bit more.
Yeah, maybe.
It did feel like I liked. I don't know. It was like I liked the idea of it quite a lot.
Yeah,
especially because that intro was so strong. I was really trying to get on with it, but just was really struggling.
Yeah.
And so it was a musical as well, which
Yeah.
is weirdly something quite new.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, when you just like, why is this like different? Because I feel like I've seen cartoons with songs in before, but this felt more like a musical, didn't it?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more music to it.
I mean, there was 3 songs, I think, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Was it 3 songs?
3, I think, yeah.
In the first 20 minutes.
Mm. So, I mean, I guess that in itself is going to sort of, I mean, a lot of people seem to really love all the songs as well. So
yeah,
if that's your type of thing, then, you know, this has got an extra punch that a lot of cartoons aren't really packing. But, you know, conversely, if it's not your thing, this is probably going to irritate you.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly a fan of musicals myself. I can't really explain why either. Like, it's like I like music, but the, you know, sort of show tunes and stuff, it's a different type of music, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like part of it is too old timey for me or something. That's got to be in there. But it's also like a genre switch as well, isn't it? At that point,
Yeah.
Like once everybody starts singing and stuff, it's not the same thing that it was before almost. So
yeah.
Yeah, I guess you've got to kind of take that on board if you want to keep watching Centaur World as well. And you know, I wasn't thrilled with the songs in this one either, you know, because I guess I've got a high bar. If you are gonna sing at me, like it needs to,
Yeah.
it needs to be,
you need to like
DuckTales theme tune or you know, or else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't you know, blown away by them anyway. So I was like, you know, this is going to be tough if I've got to watch another 7 episodes of this or whatever it is for the season.
I think to be like, I don't dislike musicals at all, and the songs in at least in the first episodes were, you know, was okay. I don't remember any of the tracks, but equally I don't remember being like, oh, well, this needs to end.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So but I think for me that a strong part of it was the humor. I just did not get on with at all.
Yeah.
And that sometimes, like, you know, just there was one bit where she sort of broke into the song, and there was you know, her trying to make sure her voice was okay, and it almost annoyed me before the song began and ruined the song, because I was just like, it's not landing, which leads me on to sort of some of the casting I felt was slightly off.
Really?
And mainly sort of, is it just Horse? Is that a name?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Horse, I think. That voice just didn't match the horse for me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It was jarring to when the horse started talking. You're like, well, that's weird. That's their voice.
Yeah. Like, how is that? You know, it didn't match up at all. And I think that was some of the voices were just, I don't know, didn't fit the characters or just didn't deliver the lines well enough. I can't tell what it was, whether it was the script or the acting. Yeah. Not all of it was bad, and I'm sure as well sometimes, you know, if the actors are good, then once I'd watched a few episodes, you would be okay with it and you'd get used to it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
because sometimes it is literally because I can't see that horse with that voice.
Yeah,
that's annoyed me, and which is silly, I know,
but you know, I mean, that is someone's job to try and pair those things together, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
but I suppose you've got to get people that can sing as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
not that there can't be a shortage of people that can sing and act, you know, and it looks like it was made, you know, in LA. It's got that CalArts style, hasn't it?
That's it.
But yeah, it didn't. The main issue was it didn't feel like it was aimed at me.
Yeah.
Which nowadays, like in a modern show, that's a real thing. Like you can watch so many 90s cartoons and so many 80s and any time before, and they tend to be just, you know, run on a theme.
Yeah.
You can pick the good ones, you can pick the bad ones. Nowadays, everything has such a niche audience.
Yeah.
which is both a good and, in this case, I guess, for me, a bad thing.
Yeah, that's true. It is kind of a new thing almost that we've got things like, with laser accuracy at an audience. So, and that's, I guess it works in a way because you get like a hyper fandom of the people that, loved it because it was their show, it was made for them. And obviously that pays off financially for these companies because enough people love it enough to, buy into it and everything about it. Whereas before, I guess they were trying to catch with a much bigger net. And I mean, I guess that's why some things are, questionable later on because they were trying to appeal everywhere at the same time. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, I think it really can be jarring if you are on the outside of the show like this, and that it's the same way that if you watch a kids show that is made for toddlers or even younger kids, it's like they're not even speaking real words. There's nothing I can learn from this episode. It's literally just not made for me. Like I can't. There's no gain here for me. It's not made for me. And that's what it can feel like when in the same way if you're for me it's like I'm not into musicals. I'm not really a particular big fan of this art style. I'm not really into horses or centaurs. The main story, I mean, I like the kind of the sort of metaphor for kind of breaking out of your shell and getting out of the monotony. Did enjoy that, like very early on, as episode 1. I thought that was good, but otherwise it felt kind of like every other series starting up, like let's go on an adventure, really. But if anything, I could have done with a bit more of that adventure, just to sort of be like, oh, this is what we're in for, as opposed to this kind of sort of put us in the wrong mindset, I feel like.
But once again, this is the Netflix effect, isn't it? Where now they just make everything and expect you to watch it all at once.
Yeah.
Like it's almost made more like a film than it is. Whereas, with something like Netflix, you could have easily just done a longer first episode.
Yeah.
Where you've got a bit of that in, because it fit everything in to this episode, and I think if they had to put anything more in, it probably would have been a bit overbearing, like flipping it, this is moving fast.
Yeah, maybe.
But equally, I do agree that we could have done with that, glimpse of what's to come.
What's to come? Yeah, because so far, right, we got the the colourful side of it, and by the sounds of it as well, it doesn't stay like that either. So for those that are in it for something a bit different, like seeing what disaster is ahead could have really benefited me sticking around for it, I think. So but I guess it is a bit different when you've got, what is it, 8 episodes or whatever, and people like to watch them all at once. So something else the old cartoons didn't really have up their sleeve either. So it's something. It's just the way it's changing, I guess, and the way we kind of probably have to just take more on a couple of episodes. You have, like nowadays, I suppose you have to give everything. I usually give a show a few episodes. Yeah. Just
to say, right, I've seen episode 3 and I'm still not on board, so I'm out.
Yeah.
Unless the first episode was so upsetting.
Yeah. I have done that with a couple of series. Like I've tried a first episode and been like, I'm out.
I'll be honest, I've backed off after 10 minutes before.
Really?
Like, I realise what this is, I'm out.
Yeah.
Which is, you shouldn't really do, but we live in a fast-paced world.
This is it, yeah. It's very true.
All right, well, we've had a good chat about it, and we've discussed our thoughts. So let's move on to our reviews.
Hi. I'm sorry. Hi. Am I in the right place? I'm sorry. I came here to pitch for Netflix. Is this the right place?
Let me put it this way. My name's John Netflix.
You're John Netflix? The John Netflix?
That's right. John Netflix.
Whew.
Name John Netflix. Catchphrase, time is money.
Oh yeah, of course, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were going to be here. I'd have done I've done my eyebrows. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've got some shows that we'd love to get on your network, on your streaming service. Sorry, I know that's a curse word around here. Let me tell you about the first show. This one is for lovers of ferrets, preferably white ferrets, preferably with a black streak across the eyes. And the owners, they also have, they've got irritable bowel syndrome, and they live in a bungalow.
Okay, so this is the audience for the show you're talking about, right?
Yeah, this is the audience. Yeah, this is who we're aiming it at. We're pitching it at these guys because our research shows that these people love animated shows. So we figured if we make the main character, someone who owns a white ferret with a black streak across its face, and it's about their troubles with irritable bowel while living in a bungalow.
I like it. I like it a lot. I've got to say. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you. The second thing I'm going to tell you, I want to make a change.
Okay.
Direct this at 27-year-olds.
27?
There's a gap in the market for shows for 27-year-olds. I think this show would fit right in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, we were aiming, we were way out. We were aiming, 23. So... yeah, we can make adjustments and that can work. Yeah, that can work. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
That sounds great. And what I'm going to tell you right now, and you're going to be happy with this.
Okay.
I'm going to line you up a pilot episode, which will be around 20 episodes long.
Oh.
And we're going to put that on our next installment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 2 more shows.
Wow.
And one of them is going to stick.
Okay.
So right now, I need you to pitch me 2 more shows.
Okay. So these are other ones that we kind of that was kind of our main one, but these are other ones that we've kind of been working out. So this one, this is about firemen who work in New Jersey, who also live a double life as a noodle shop salesman person, but only in a very specific alleyway. Where their customers tend to be robots.
I like it. I like it a lot. But can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
I want it to be aimed at people with an Inuit background as well.
Okay. Yeah. Now, that's an audience we've been trying to tap into. That they're kind of hard to get. We just don't have enough of those. They're not represented very well. So I think that would be fantastic. Yeah. Okay, and this last one, this really appeals to me. It really touches my heart because I'm kind of in this bracket. So, this is for 20 somethings, and we're leaving it broad. That part's going to be, you can be 20 in 1 day or 29 in 364. That's the magic of this one. That's wide open, but it's 20 somethings, but they have an inner ear infection that has caused them to go into have multiple personality disorder, and one of their personalities is a gerbil called Frank, who hangs upside down in a lady's bathroom, and she lives in the Netherlands, and she sings a specific yodeling song that people born in the 1600s would have known.
Okay, I gotta say, this idea, my favorite so far.
What?
Only one problem.
Okay.
That broad age range. 20 to 30, essentially. Minus a day. I want you to change it. Okay. 19 to 29.
19 to 29. I mean, that's really going to change, 30 to 40 of the episodes that we've got planned. But if John Netflix wants it, I'm happy to make that change.
John Netflix wants it, make it happen. Okay, so here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. Thumbs up, ugly animation for adult cartoons. What happened to that? Those were the good old days. Thumbs down, generic animation / art style for adult cartoons. Clearly that was what it was going to be. Come on, guys. And shaky middle, Netflix being named after its owner.
Yeah.
So essentially that means good, bad, or on the fence with this one. So Centaur World, episode 1, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, like you said, the opening for this one was promising. It was very dark. Animation was really nice. The art looked really cool. The monster things that were chasing it really got tense pretty quick. And then we leap into Centaur World, the titular location, and suddenly all of that changes. I mean, like you said, this is the point. But for me, that stuff it really didn't gel with me so well. The characters were kind of goofy and silly to the point that they didn't really hold anything for me. I could imagine they'd be good as on the side as comic relief or whatever, but the fact, the overwhelming fact that we're going to be following this group throughout all the episodes kind of felt like I'm not really sure if I want to do that. On top of that, we have the music, which I wasn't really a big fan of. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I mean, I'm already kind of having to adjust to the other stuff that I wasn't a big fan of anyway, and the musicals just kind of kicked me in the ribs when I was down. And then story wise, I like the sort of moral implications that we're talking about, and I like a good adventure. So I mean, it could definitely go places. Like, I feel like it did have some potential, but I think like I say, the fact that we've got to stick with these folk that were singing and dancing and the hitting stuff that wasn't really for me, I find it, I'm not sure I could keep going. And so by the end, I wasn't really, I was kind of glad it was over more than anything. So I think for me that means it's I think there's going to be a thumbs down for Centaur.
Boy, yeah. So okay, I did struggle with this one. I was very upset when the Centaurs came into it and just couldn't gel with really any of the characters. I think a lot of the trouble is as well that art style. When they get to Centaur World, it just connects to that kind of. It fits so well with that sense of humor that I just don't gel with. I know I keep saying it, but I think it kind of added a bit more of a bad taste to my mouth with the whole thing, because it's all that kind of, that is that specific humor where I can't describe it, but to see it, those stupid faces mixed with sort of gags that are just not tickling me, basically. That really did kind of bother me. But that being said, the beginning was really good, and I think there's definitely potential there, as you said, to expand on that in a good way. I think if I watched more, I might connect with it on some level, but I also think the things that bothered me would still be there. That's and it to that degree I wouldn't watch anymore. However, I'm not gonna give it a thumbs down, simply because I don't think that it's a bad show. I just don't think that I like it.
Right. Yeah.
I think it seems well made, and as much as I don't really like that art style, overall, the world looked really nice. I did quite like the backgrounds and sort of, though the songs didn't stick with me, I think it's cool that they're doing something different. They've got like a soundtrack that seems to be popular with people as well that are watching it. So yeah, it is something different in a way. Even though there's parts of it I feel like I've already seen before, it seems as it goes on, it might become something of its own a bit more. And that you can't really quarrel with something that at least has its own feel to it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think the mixture of art styles really does help that as well. There's a serious side and the Centaur side. So yeah, I'm going to be a middle on it because I just I can't give it a thumbs up. I didn't like it, but equally I can't give it a thumbs down.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And I think I think like I said, there's possibly is potential there, but I just did not enjoy that first. Like I enjoyed the first minute or two, and then that was it pretty much. So it would be even more impressive if it does take a real turn, in the series and goes somewhere unexpected. But whether I'm going to stick around to find out,
I think it all depends on how you connect with those characters and if the things that bothered you from the first episode stop bothering you. That I know that's an obvious thing to say, but it could happen in a show like this, where it's some shows
throughout the show. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So
there we go. A middle and a down. It's not the worst we've had.
No.
Nor is it the best. But we're not always right. So what did you think? You can get in touch with us on the 3 John Netflixes of the internet, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Toon Jam Pod. Maybe you really didn't like the show. Maybe you love the show and you want to tell us exactly why and what's so good about it. Maybe we missed something in just watching the first episode. Maybe we just missed something in general. So please, we are always happy to chat about what we've discussed, and we're always happy to take on recommendations. Maybe there's a show that you think you would love us to review, or you think we would love or hate. Maybe you want to put us through a bit of torture because you didn't like the way we dealt with it. We're happy to take that on the chin. So please get in touch with us. Don't forget, if you'd like some bonus material, you can support us on Patreon. And we also have a merchandise store, which is bit.ly/Toon Jam shop, and you can get all sorts of different Toon Jam themed things on there. However, with that said, all that's left to say is thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate every one of you. If you like the show, please rate and review us, and tell a friend, share it. It really helps us out. We just want to grow and carry on doing what we're doing. We're enjoying it. So thank you for listening, and thank you for any help that you might give us. And until next time, as always, you stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/toonjampod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.